Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, everybody. Really good to be here with all of you, and a very big happy Monday. Hope that you had a very good weekend, good time with your family, friends, whatever you were doing. But today we're talking about a very critically important topic today. We are talking about epigenetics. Yes, it is the buzzword. It's what's being talked about. It is what's on everybody's mind within in holistic and even in some allopathic circles. But when we're talking about epigenetics, we're really talking about living above the level of genes that we're born with, right? Epi meaning above. So essentially what we're getting is that the push in holistic health when it comes to epigenetics puts the power on the individual to take steps to do whatever they can to be healthy in spite of the genes that we're born with. In other words, not using that as a blanket excuse to not make changes, right? So we're talking about a revolution and turning the table on our genes, and if you see below, there's going to be a link there. So that being said, let's get into this, right? Let's take some time, right? Living above the epigenetic level, turning the table on our genes. So the genes that we're born with, that doesn't essentially mean that we have to let that dictate our life, right? When we're talking about lifestyle medicine and choices and self-responsibility, something that we've been talking about a lot lately on these posts, okay? So first and foremost, when we're talking about epigenetic healing, we're talking about setting that intention to do more than what we've been given. So our gene activity, especially now the microbial genes, the microbiome in the gut, and how it's expressed in our life, that can make one of the biggest differences in our health outcomes. In other words, the way we treat our gut, the foods that we give our insides, some even call it the second brain, can manifest itself all many ways throughout our life, okay? So when most people think of DNA, they think that it is set. Now when it comes to our hereditary DNA, those things are locked and binded. But our expressive DNA in the microbes in the stomach can be manipulated and changed over time. Did you hear what I said? It can be manipulated and changed over time. So we're talking about gene expression, how we move, so to speak. So while we were saying earlier, while it is true we inherit roughly about maybe 25,000, maybe 30,000 at the most inherited DNA from our mother and our father, we have millions more of microbial, right, gene expression opportunities, right? Millions more. And while those hereditary genes may be there coded, we can do something with those microbial genes. Okay, and this is what we mean when we're getting into epigenetic healing. So epigenetic healing is it's a mindset, and it's actually a literal step forward, right? Especially in naturopathic medicine, self-responsibility. So through conscious actions, being aware of our mood, the foods that we eat, right? Trying to alleviate stress, seeking a sense of pleasure, right? Can have very strong outcomes in our life. The long and the short of it is, our birth DNA doesn't have to be the end all, the be all. So as we take more conscious steps to move forward, we are rising. This is what we know as epigenetics. Think of it as, right, a tool. And the more you learn how to use that tool, the more you can get creative and build things with it. But the tool by itself is not going to do anything if someone actually doesn't use it. Okay? So being aware that proper intake of fiber, right, and fibrous foods and micronutrients influence that microbiome for the better. Okay? And expressing intentions of love, gratitude, trying to move away from feelings of guilt and excessive guilt and shame and hatred and rancor, believe it or not, because those are all energies that can pull your life force down. Okay? So, roughly speaking, through some of the research and through some of the talks, if we as individuals, if we as people, if you as a person can try your best to manipulate at a minimum between 85% up to 90% of those gut microbial gene DNA, that can drastically change your health outcomes. Remember, the body is not a thing, it's a process. You are not a thing, you are a process. So how engaged are you in your own process of healing, right? So we can live on a higher level, right? We don't have to just suffer in silence and live in drab misery. No, we can wake up every morning full of energy, full of joy. At any age, right? As I'm approaching 50, but inside I feel something else. So just taking that step to ignite, you can ignite that spark as well. So this is what we mean. Quick review: epigenetics, living above the inherited genes that we're born with. We have about roughly 25,000, 30,000 inherited genes, but versus millions of microbial genes. The way we eat, think, act, behave activates those genes. That in turn can create healthier outcomes. And through healthier outcomes, we can impact and create change in the world. It all starts from within, right? We talked about fiber, making sure we get that right, good fermented foods, micronutrients, making sure we're detoxing, having regular movements, because it's not there to stay. Okay, so we can literally turn the table on our genes. It is up to us. So please don't forget to share, to like, to comment, positive comments, of course, and subscribe if you haven't done so already to the Nature's First Path YouTube channel, right? And share this, and go back and review, and let's be a part of our own God-given healing process. Dr. Scott here, Nature's First Path Holistic Medicine, Los Angeles, California, and worldwide. Glad to be here with you. Be on the lookout for more cutting and leading edge content. Talk to you soon. Peace.